Chief is a family-owned, Nebraska-based company comprised of 7 diverse brands. Chief, trusted, tested, true.
Good morning, puppy.
Hey, puppy.
So good morning, everybody. We have been in Argentina now for 5 days, I believe, and we have seen the big city. We have seen the smaller town of Jesus Maria outside of Cordoba, and now we are going to be going up to Chaco, which is about 6 hours north of here, I believe. If you were to drive, we're going to be taking a plane. So crazy. So it's wild that you can go anywhere in the world and see similar things, but at the same time be so different. Coming right off of harvest, these corn heads are all aluminum, which is really interesting. I'm looking at these huge tires on these grain carts here.
These are not carts like we have. They're 4-wheel steerable carts.
So interesting. So it's agriculture in some sense is the same everywhere you go, but to be able to see all the differences between Nebraska, United States, and down here in Chaco, Argentina is incredible. I am so grateful for the opportunity to be down here, and I'm definitely going to be drinking mate more at home. That stuff is amazing. You guys definitely knew what you're doing with that one. So if you know anything about Argentina, you probably know about the terrible inflation that they're suffering right now. And so it does not a lot of good to keep your money in a bank. Instead, they put all of their profits into buying chemicals and fertilizer and seed and anything they might need for the coming years. So the big buildings that we walked through, those are all storing anything they could possibly need for the next 2 years. See, now this is what I'm talking about, big equipment. So we're in the shed and we're looking at some of their harvest equipment. I think they have 6 or 7 of these. These are John Deere S790s. I ran a 680 all of this past harvest, all of those videos that you watched. This is a huge combine. It's 4-wheel drive. It's got the big tires on it. It looks somewhat similar to the combine that you would have seen. It's just way beefier, and there's no emissions. There's no diesel exhaust fluid. It's really interesting.
On our combine, the exhaust comes out the back right there. But on this combine, you can see there's just a stack right above the auger. That's where the exhaust comes out. Like Laura was saying, it is 4-wheel drive. You can see the hydraulic assist. They drag a chain on for static, and they pull almost all of the bearings out they can.
We are looking at, on most of the equipment, it looks like for maintenance, they, like the big auger, they have all that pulled out, and they're just welding reinforcements on stuff. It's just a very incredible operation. I love seeing big equipment. It's one thing to see it in the United States, but it's even cooler
Air
in a
hoses
different
on
country.
everything. And all the combines have license plates.
This is another thing that I think is very specific to the US, is that we don't have to license and register our farm equipment. But in Germany, remember when I went over there and toured some farms, all of their combines and tractors had to be licensed. It looks like it's the same in Argentina.
It's very hard to get combines here, so they put a lot of hours on these things before they trade them off.
We are finding out that to get stuff into the country that was made in other countries, I think they have a 40% import tax. It's crazy.
Here's a bean head just like we have, except it's a little bigger, and they're putting new belts on it. This thing is so clean and nice here.
Very organized. So I believe there is a case combine factory in Brazil, but this combine actually was made in Nebraska, right down the road from me. It's so crazy to see a piece of home all the way down here, 6,000 to 7,000 miles away from home. They plant corn, soybeans, a little bit of wheat, a little bit of garbanzo beans, and some sunflowers. This is a familiar site. I believe planting starts December 10th or December 15th. So they are just doing a final run through of everything on the planter, getting it ready to go.
There's a John Deere 8345, just like ours, but there's no emissions on this engine. It's the same, but very different. And again, the license plate.
So they're on 24-inch spacing. They have two 48-row planters. I'm gonna say that again, 48 rows and two 36-row planters. And they do all no-till farming.
It looks like this thing has been rebuilt several times.
Are you ready for planting season, or are you still coming off harvest?
We could probably plant our whole farm in a week with one of these.
I think so too. Painting chamber?
They've got a paint booth.
This is way better. Usually we just hang stuff up from those chain hoists that we have in the shop from like a piece of wire or something. This is a lot nicer.
Yeah, they made their trash cans and painted them.
So this farmstead has been around for a long, long time. When they started farming here, there was no electricity, so they used a generator for a long time. There's a water tower behind me. And the cutest, most compact houses. Everything is very square and nice.
Look how beautiful this wood is on this water tower. And it's like glossy.
It's gorgeous. I think I'm falling in love with Argentina.
And this also holds this from blowing in the wind, because the wind really blows here.
Just like a big layer of mulch here,
So,
protecting the
what you
soil.
want is, this is what you want. You want this. This is perfect scenario. And this, you come on a very, very dry day, hot day. If it rained 7 days ago, you go like this, and it's moist. Because this is mulch, which is insulation.
And you'll plant corn right into this.
You plant right into this. You do nothing. You don't cut it, you don't chop it, you run the...
Plant right into it.
Right into it.
So we went and actually checked the water table, not under all the fields, but under that field in particular. The water table is only 9 feet underground. We were able to touch the water. And so sometimes during like super wet years, that water will actually come up and flood field. It's just really interesting. It's almost like they have drip irrigation underneath some of their fields. Back into the plane and on to the next destination. So after that plane ride, we are now at a second farm location. Same farm, but just further away. It's another 30-minute plane ride to see even more land and equipment. It speaks for itself.
So much big equipment, and it's all like newer John Deere stuff. There's no def on any of these machines.
But there's also no off-road diesel here. So they're paying the same price for on-road diesel as they do for their tractors. Look at this drill, Grant. Come here.
It's huge. So you transport it down the road like this, but when you get to the field, you hook up to that hitch.
I am just in absolute awe.
Like everything is so clean and organized around here. Here is the other 2 planters.
And the other 3 combines.
They completely rebuild each planter each year. They would love to buy a new planter, but they can't get one. They can't import John Deere planters here. So they've been running these for the past 13 years. More combines. The feeder house is completely disassembled on this one. They go through so much grain, they have to reflight all of their augers. You got a 670, 690, 780. This one looks new. Still got the on the tires. All the plastic still on the seats. Service truck. Look at all these planter parts. Amazing. This is crazy.
This is crazy.
So this is one hub of their farm, which services 22,000 acres, but it's over 100,000 acres in total. This huge farm, they have a little tiny grain system. This is where when they unload bags, they can come weigh them and either add or drain out grain for when it has to go to port. When it goes to port, they need exactly 30 metric tons. So if the truck is a little too heavy or a little too light, they can either add or subtract grain from the scale. And then it drives 900 kilometers to the port.
Okay, this is the beast that I really want to show you guys. So it's already a huge tractor, but they've put forestry grade tires on it, specially made. $45,000 just to put the tires on this tractor. But they are made of Kevlar and they're super thick. So when they're clearing and developing land, they are able to push the trees over, run them over with the tires, they won't puncture, and then use the disc to disc everything under.
Look at these tires. So thick. And this blade on the front with the guard keeps these tractors looking very nice. There's so much room in the engine compartment without all of the emissions stuff. Like, that's just an engine, nothing else. Look at all these grain cars behind you.
Even more grain car and all the stuff over it's.
Water management is everything. They collect the rainwater from the roof and store it in a tank to power wash their equipment. Great idea.
Look at her run!
13 or 14.
Wow!
Look at them all.
Wow. I think those are frogs talking to each other in the pond. Just enjoyed a very beautiful sunset here in Chaco, Argentina. Tomorrow we begin our journey to Mendoza. Getting the tractor all fueled up, ready to go out to the field this morning. Wow. Check out this service crane truck thing. Beautiful morning here, but it is time for Grant and I to continue our journey west, further down into Argentina to Mendoza. I cannot thank H&H Outfitters enough for giving us this beautiful tour of the Argentinian countryside. It is gorgeous here. Learning about the way you guys farm has been so eye-opening. I thought that maybe Nebraska was flat and had good farming. I was so wrong. Argentina has the most beautiful flat fields and the trees everywhere. Just absolutely gorgeous. The scale of the farming is incredibly impressive, and I hope I conveyed that over camera enough. Thank you so much for joining me on this farm in Argentina, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.